Workers' compensation was designed to protect workers in the event of a work-related illness or injury. However, many workers do not report some injuries because they fear losing their jobs while off work recovering from an injury. Can an employee in Oklahoma be fired while off work on workers' compensation? The honest answer is yes and no. Continue watching to learn more about why you can be fired and why you can't be. Is there a safety net for workers' compensation? Oklahoma law mandates that you still receive your workers' compensation benefits until you have recovered or reached the point where further recovery is no longer expected, even if your employment is terminated. The benefits are paid by your employer's insurance company, and they follow the injured worker, not the whims or acts of the employer. This is guaranteed under Oklahoma law. If there is a safety net, what are the legal reasons to be terminated while you are recovering? If an employer can provide valid reasons for terminating your position, you can lose your job legally while off work on workers' compensation. These can include planned layoffs, poor job history, proven instances of misconduct, your job role is vital to the company and must be replaced, or the company goes bankrupt and fires all other employees. Your employer is required to make reasonable attempts to accommodate any work restrictions you may have after reaching a point where further recovery is not expected. They may offer you an alternative job with lighter duties. However, if your employer cannot reasonably accommodate your work restrictions, they may legally terminate your employment. If you believe your employer terminated your employment illegally because you filed a workers' compensation claim, you may have grounds to bring a lawsuit for damages. You must be able to prove that your employer deliberately singled you out to be fired related to your workers' compensation claim or injury. For example, if your firing occurred the same day as or immediately after you reported a work-related injury, you may have a strong case for illegal firing. Your employer may have fired you to avoid filing an injury claim on their insurance and risking a jump in insurance premiums. If you believe your employer terminated your employment illegally, you may have a civil claim against your former employer. Your claim must be filed in state court in the county where the firing took place. This claim is separate from your workers' compensation claim and is against your employer and not the workers' comp insurance carrier. To have a successful wrongful termination claim, you must show monetary damages in addition to termination because of your work injury. Here are some examples where individuals were terminated, but not all were wrongful. Barney was an officer for a small-town police department. He injured himself assisting a motorist who had experienced a breakdown on the side of the highway. Barney filed a workers' compensation claim and received medical treatment. Barney's employment was terminated in an open meeting of the city's governing body for the reason he had filed a work comp claim. This is a clear example of wrongful termination. Barney's case had a good ending. He was successful in securing other employment soon after his termination with a higher salary. He had no monetary damages as a consequence of his termination. Another case is Laverne. She was a machine operator of a bottling facility. She injured her back, filed a work comp claim, and underwent numerous surgeries. She was taken off work and received temporary total disability. After release from treatment, she returned to work. Her case was tried to a judge. At trial, Laverne testified she had numerous limitations, including the inability to perform many of the essential functions of her job. Following the judge's decision, finding she had sustained some permanent partial disability, she was terminated. This termination was not wrongful. Laverne's testimony under penalties of perjury was she could not perform the job she was hired to perform. Final example is Flo. She was a server at a local restaurant. She sustained an injury and filed a workers' compensation claim. She was able to return to work under light duty restrictions. While on light duty, she was terminated. This incident unfortunately took place when our country experienced the outbreak of COVID. This termination was lawful because the employer, following governmental mandates, closed and had to lay off all employees. The restaurant never reopened. If you are trying to recover compensation for a work-related injury, you need to seek legal representation from the experienced attorneys at Armstrong Law Firm at once. Let our team build a strong case that clearly shows why you qualify for benefits for your injury. Call us now at 918-582-2500 for a free consultation with a skilled attorney.